yeah. Sorry. I was like, sorry. I get so many questions.
I'm so excited.
Okay, so let's go. I will go in the order that you listed them.
Oh boy. Okay.
It's not okay. You sent me a text. That's fine. It's not at all a big deal. It's not at all a hassle. So check this out. Bang. We're gonna do one of these. Bang. These are the 3 that you gave me as your 3 favorite movies.
I love these.
Okay. Perfect. That's what I needed to hear. I just needed to make sure. Okay. So first Matrix. Step Brothers, and the
love this. So dumb.
And the Workaholics vehicle post getting canceled. Which, are you a fan of the Workaholics?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's so many questions.
No.
Game over, man.
Oh no, I'm getting worried now. My time to shine is over.
Let's go with the first 2. So Matrix. I'm going to ask you. Why is this one of your 3 favorite movies?
I'm so impressed. I'm like, ooh, let me read what's underneath.
Yeah, you like it? Like, the film nerd in me was like, I kind of want to give it a like.
This is so legit.
See, production value. All right, everybody, when you find the right thing.
So The Matrix. You said, why do I love it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh!
Why is it one of your 3 favorite movies specifically?
It was so groundbreaking at the time. I remember seeing the movie because I've always liked stuff like this. So I would have been 19. And this was right before like the big, I'll say like spirituality, personal development, metaphysics, that wide umbrella. Well, just overall, just in the world before it became popular, it was like just on the cusp of that. At least here in the Midwest was what I was aware of. And also for me. But I remember watching it and just being like, this is the coolest shit. This is so real. And like, I didn't know that they could make a movie that like, I don't know, like would speak to things that I always kind of had a sense of, but obviously I'm not flying through the air.
So stupid. You weren't? Were you or not? Oh, I had no idea.
But it was so like, I remember just was captivated and I was just like, oh, like just everything about it was just, this is life. This is everything. And I actually used to secretly.
Here we go.
I used to secretly. I know this is really good. I used to secretly judge people that didn't like the movie, and if they didn't like it, I wouldn't date them. Fun fact: the guy I'm dating now isn't into any of this shit. Let's just say we have not talked about it.
You are smarter than I.
But I also gave up judgment a while ago, or at least most of it. Some of it still lingers and comes
By
in.
the way, I remember one of the greatest things I ever heard Gary say in class. Consciousness includes everything and judges nothing, including judgment. And then I sat there and I looked at him and he was like, all judgment is all humor is judgment.
And
then he goes, but I don't judge my judgment. And suddenly I was like, oh, that's why I think everything's funny.
Yeah.
That I can judge the absolute shit out of something.
Yeah.
But also zero like attachment to it. Like, so we're taping this. We're not actually broadcasting. So just letting you know, no one's.
Does that mean it will be edited?
Yeah. Although there's part of me that actually is like
I love it like this.
This is so stupid fun that I'm almost like there should be like a live broadcast if you want to watch it live, but then I was gonna cut it up and have it be like, and then put that out as the podcast, as the YouTube video. But if you wanted to watch it live, you would jump on, whatever stream the thing is. So that's just God damn it. I also realized like being X-Men and OCD and hopped up on caffeine makes me hard to. What the fuck were we talking about?
Judgment, why you laugh.
Yeah, those are things we said out loud. Let's talk about the movie.
Yeah, I was saying how I used to judge people for like not being in the Matrix, I'd be like, well, I this can't go further.
I remember back in the day when I used to like really give a shit about stuff like that. One of my favorite movies came out, and it's a movie that it's Once. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a big Broadway musical, but like it was first a movie, and the whole story behind the thing is like phenomenal. But the point is that it's a movie that I saw 4 times in the first week, and every time I would sit in the parking lot or stand in the parking lot and just weep, like full force crying.
Wow.
Because it just hit me so, and it's actually about beauty. It's about vulnerability. It's about connection. It's about, it never has to look the way you think it's going to look for it not to mean.
Whoa.
It might actually mean a zillion times more for it to have gone down like this than it would have had they, had the he and she got together the way that we all expect he and she are supposed to get together, but they didn't, but they got together in this way that's way more intimate, blah, 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 blah. But the most respected artist I know, like visual artist I knew at the time, I was like, I love Once. And he was like, oh, that movie sucks. And I had this moment of, I'm used to wanting to punch someone when they say that, but I'm not going to, because, and then this is the phrase that's just stuck with me, because people are allowed to like things. It's okay that you don't like the things I like. It's fine. Okay, good.
Oh my God, I love it. I see the self-rationalization going on. I do it too. It's okay. They're not into this thing that they really need to fucking be into. I swear to God, it's okay.
Well, but then again, it is like that, okay, so as research, and I'm calling it research to rewatch a bunch of my favorite movies. So I watched, and it was so funny because I got up to the part where he wakes up in the thing, in the pod, right? Uh-huh. And then I was like, I've seen this movie at least 60 times, at least 60, 70 times. I watch a lot of movies. This is one of the things I'm beginning to realize. So then I was like, I don't really need to watch this movie again to reference it with you.
Yeah.
But were there any, who did you, okay, so there's a question I'd like to ask. Which were the characters that you kind of saw the movie through? I mean, it's kind of a stupid question because the whole point of a movie is okay, it's our lead character. We see it through Neo's eyes. But were there any other characters, or were there any moments that you were like, ooh?
I was a big fan of Neo and Trinity need to get together and make babies and get married and have a whole different plot that this movie is never going to have.
Super not what the movie's about. That's totally different.
But I just everything about that was was at the time oh God, I look back and I actually think, thank God I'm not still stuck in that utopian ideal.
Oh, right on. Okay.
That was super idealized, and of course it's a movie that's fine, it's fantastic. But this them together and her love of him, and it's that whole element kind of of sacrifice, really spoke to me then. But yet they were powerful and kicking ass.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just so grateful that I'm not that cheesy anymore.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's that. There's definitely that. I didn't
like it, but it was more ooh, how can I have this and be this? And now I'm thinking about other things in my life. I'm oh, Lord have mercy.
See, here's what's different about several things that are different about you and me. One of them is that you're smart. Well, actually, I don't know if you're smarter than me. It's just that not to say those things in front of the person you're going on a date with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
And also most of the women I tend to date, as soon as it leaves my mouth, of just oh yeah, that's dumb. Then you see the color drain from their face. And oh, that's right. You haven't given up on that yet.
Yeah.
You're still holding on to it. And then I'm but you're divorced and you have kids. You should have given up on that. Like, that's why I went out with you, is that you said I've got like 3 kids and my husband's an ass. It's like, that should have told you this is bull. Why are you looking at me that way?
I'm so smart, I play myself.
Right. I feel like that's, it's funny when my sister, my older sister had Lulu, and one of the things I was psyched about was Lulu's gonna, which is hilarious because, well, the thing I was psyched about was that Lulu's gonna get lessons on what it is to be a hot girl. But then Lulu just was like, I am a hot girl. Why do I need lessons in anything? And she's just her weird self. So it's almost just like, okay, Lulu has always just going to do Lulu. But the thing I was psyched about was like, oh, she's got a mom who like dated to eat in New York for like 5 years. So she can rock the like, just smile, just look at the forehead, and just wait till the meal comes, and then order a second appetizer to get that to go, so you have lunch for tomorrow. And like that. And I feel like good-looking women all have that, like, that one toolbox that some of them feel bad for using.
Oh, this is like so juicy. Oh, because I don't.
Right. And some do not.
Get mad at myself that I don't. I was like I literally the other day, like this week, I was like with myself, I was like, like why? But you know why? Because I really like those things about myself.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Like I love being, God, this is so non sequitur, but like I love being, for example, like
I think we've talked about the Matrix for 5 minutes of the 3:33 that's gone on right now, or 33 minutes. Jesus.
But it's like, for example, it's like I love, like we share a lot of same friends, so it's like so many of my friends are like open and just, or poly or whatever you want to call it, right? And here I am, like, love freaking monogamy. Yeah, like it's what I do, it's what I be, it's like what works for me. And even if like I don't even know what the other guy's doing or where we're at, it's like this is what I'm going to choose. And there's so many times where I used to kind of fault myself for that. But then what I realize is how cool I'm not changing what actually works for me based upon an insecurity or somebody else's thing. Yeah. And I'm like, this is just me. Yeah. And I love it, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, so I don't have a toolbox, but I could have a dangerous one. And I have thought about it. I'm like, oh, I would just love to like eat men alive. But I never have.
Literally, like, cook them. Whoa,
I mean, kind of.
I always refer to my one friend that I had way back in the day, where he talked about how kinky he was, and like how his kink was like this whole other level of like, oh, that's kind of super fucked up. Like he wouldn't. It wasn't the type of kink of like. I mean, I always laugh about like BDSM stuff because I'm like, there's a lot of extra stuff you have to buy. Yeah. That's a lot going on for me. Yeah. Like I'm there with you. I look at, okay, do I spend $200 on the new ball gag that also like somehow cuts off the air to your nose? I don't know why that would be a thing, but I just feel like it could be a thing. Or do I buy a reel of tennis strings that'll last me like a year plus? And that's when I go, that's probably not my thing. And if I just choke you hard enough, the same effect will happen. Yeah. Which, by the way, I'm doing this like the whole time. Like, why am I choking you? What? Like, do you need me here? Because I'm not into this at all. Anyway, speaking of BDSM, boy, oh boy, rewatching The Matrix. Rewatching The Matrix makes me think of people in the 80s rewatching the Liberace show. Why? Being like, oh wait, Liberace was gay. And like considering the Wachowski brothers, who are now the Wachowski sisters, and just that this is their scene. Oh wait, like, the Wachowskis are super into leather and the BDSM scene. And the whole thing is basically that's true. That's so true. Like the whole thing, like it's right over my head. I mean, really, like even watching it now, I was like, no wonder I like this as my movie. I didn't even know it. It's so good. So good. All right, let's move on to the second one. Okay. Move on to the second one. So it is Step Brothers.
No.
So why did you choose this as one of your three favorites?
First of all, I love stupid humor. This is what I call it. And this goes back to the very beginning. We're like, you liked Howard Stern. If it's inappropriate, if it's raunchy, if it's really something you should not be laughing at, if you kind of have a stick up your ass, I love it. There's nothing that I'm really super off color when it comes to things. Mm-hmm. With that, this is just to me just stupid college humor. And I just love it. I just love everything about it. It just gets me going. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know. I'm thinking about the table scene where the woman who's she's kind of creepy and she's like, I just want to roll you up and put you. Now I won't leave out the part that the guy I'm dating said, you're kind of like that. And I was like, I'm actually offended here. I'm offended. Just because I desire you, I'm not creepy.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I
don't want to roll your little body and put it in. That doesn't sound fun to me. Call me crazy.
Hold on. I got to give her a shout out. Because that character is secretly the funniest character in the whole movie to me.
Oh.
God, what was her name?
And this is how terrible I am.
Catherine Hahn. Catherine Hahn. She played Alice, the wife of Derek. Mm-hmm. And she was the one who got all weird, kinky, that super inappropriate next level stuff. Did you see the movie through her eyes?
No. I saw the movie through.
I kind of wish you did.
I know.
That'd be so weird.
Maybe I should go back and watch it and look at it like that now. No, I think I saw it through these people are having so much fun. Why can't I have friends like this?
Oh, that's the best. Oh, that's the best thing in the world. But you just said, because I'm one of those weirdos. Okay, so did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I look at it from okay, they're telling this amazing story, but also these are people that have to be around each other, for X number of months. Mm-hmm. And, they do become an extended family type business. Mm-hmm. And the funniest thing that I've seen is their gag reel. And I used to share it with people, look how fun it is. Look how much fun they have working. But then everyone else who I'd sent it to was I don't want to see Walter White joking around and he's about to kill a guy and then he starts giggling. Then everybody else on set starts giggling. But with Step Brothers, it's that's really interesting that movie is almost so you can't not know that this is the point of the movie is look, I think they had just done Talladega Nights, or they had done a really big budget Adam McKay, John C. Reilly, Will Ferrell collaboration, and it was a big deal and it was big budget, and they just kind of were let's just be stupid.
See, I thought this was big budget. I thought it was this is one of those brilliant movies ever, because sometimes something can be so big budget it looks like it's low budget, but that's the secret. Because I know about these things clearly.
Yeah, I was gonna say your movie industry knowledge, not necessarily what's going on there. I think there's a flawed thing going on. It looked so poor. They must have spent a lot of money. No, that's not how they do it. That's not how they do it in Hollywood. You can tell when they spend money, because then it's just dumb, and you're like, why'd you spend so much money? Yeah. So you actually saw it almost through the eyes of just the universe.
Oh my God, yeah. I was just this is just so, just everything, the asshole brother, Will Ferrell, him and John C. Reilly, the bank, the bunk bed scene. I can't tell you. That used to just, and it still does, but I used to just go over the top, laughing. So I'm I didn't see it coming. I love that I can't see coming. And I just remember
it jumps on top of it.
I just lost it. I couldn't stop laughing. And I'm it's just so fun. It's the fun, because I'm really I've had multiple people tell me, you're not funny. I'm But that's what makes me funny, because I'm not funny and I don't pretend to be. That's what's so brilliant about it. And like, I just laugh.
You know what? That's true. That's actually one of the reasons I love being around you, because you don't think you're funny. Is that you don't? I know someone who thinks they're interesting.
Oh no!
Thinks they're funny, right? And there's this moment where you're like, I actually don't think they get there. They're neither of those things at all. And it becomes that like, because they don't know. You have that question of like, oh, they don't know. Like, oh, that's a bummer. So yeah, like with you, there's this like, you're not trying to be funny.
No,
you're not. You just enjoy things that make you laugh, and when you laugh, you like for reals laugh.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is funny, unless you're like dead or have a stick up.
Yeah, there are plenty of people like that.
I'm like, that's the theme. Maybe that's.
Yes, you're getting there. All right. Let's see. What else can we dig in this movie? If there's, I see. That's the funny thing is that when you sent me your three, I was like, okay, well, we could definitely dig in the first one. Step Brothers is just such a great movie to pick. It's so stupid. It's so I don't know if you knew this, but like it was kind of Adam Scott's first real foray into comedy. Yeah. No. So like you see him and he's a super good looking guy and he's being an absolute dick.
Yeah.
Like next level piece of
yeah.
And he said in an interview, like, I was so scared because here I am with Will Ferrell, Adam McKay, John C. Reilly, with some of the funniest, Mary Steenburgen, his, the mom, and everyone's so Rob Riggle, everyone's funny, and I'm not funny.
Wow. And he was an instrumental part of it.
And he said, what helped me was that I leaned so hard into him being just went balls to the wall, just being and they'll make it work. And it was really great. He talked about then the next gig he got was, in terms of being funny, was Parks and Rec. So like his first two gigs are like with some of the best improvisational comedians in the world, and he doesn't have any of those chops. So like he had to learn in the moment with these incredibly brilliant people. And he said it was such a gift because they basically showed him like you actually can't fuck up.
I'm inspired. I feel like I need to go out and live life more.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, Natalie, you need to go out and live life more. You're right. The only caveat in that whole thing is that you're in Columbus, right?
Yep. Hey, Davis in Yellow Springs, an hour away. Don't tell me.
No, he's doing it right. He flies private. I'm not mad at that guy at all. That guy did it. And also, if there was ever a time to live somewhere that wasn't in a giant city.
Let me tell you how much I was loving Ohio that night. I was like, y'all missing out.
I was talking to a friend of how like I've never wanted to live in a cabin and just hunt for my food more than I do now. But then I thought about it. It's only because I just want to go hunting.
Really?
Yeah. Because I love meat so much. I'm one of those people that like, look, here's the exchange. I'm not running from this. Like when someone serves a whole fish and someone's like, ew, the head. I'm like, what did you
exactly?
Like,
yeah.
Like you're running from the responsibility in this thing. like, I'd rather shoot a giant antelope, like spend a week in the woods searching for an antelope, shoot it, cry.
You're like wasting away hungry.
Oh my God. It looks, I've been watching this show called Meat Eater. It's a hunter. And what's funny is that I've been looking at other hunting shows. And the reason I like this one is because he legitimately loves meat. So that's why that's the drive of the show.
That is kind of cool.
So when he eats it, there's a like legit like gratitude involved in like, there's this one episode where this guy who is only hunted on his family farm, and he actually goes to Alaska for this caribou migration. So you're seeing like thousands of caribou going by. And the first one he sees is this gigantic antler one that was gorgeous and beautiful. And it was so beautiful. He just was like, he didn't shoot. He just was like, I didn't want to ruin that moment. Plus, he also was seeing thousands of them, so it wasn't like. But then, like, that's when I see like again, like in kind of everything's the opposite appears to be, nothing's the opposite appears to be. Like cats like that who like actually respect the exchange.
Oh, 100%. That's so like Native American, indigenous people like vibe to me, like the people that really got like the sacredness and like the cycle of it all, you know what I mean? It's like, to me, that's what's missing from our modern food supply, even with freaking lettuce.
Yeah. Totally. All right, speaking of weirdness of our modern food supply, let's go to our third movie. I need to hear from you.
God.
So
why not?
Best reply ever. Best reply ever. Why not?
This falls into the same category of Step Brothers, meaning what movie can I find that's so stupid, yet so captivating that it's like dumb, but yet there's an intelligence behind it. But
is there?
I think so. I think so. Like I'm not too proud to love high school humor, even though I'm not in high school. Like I love this. and the whole movie was so ridiculous, but there's so fun.
It's definitely ridiculous. Okay, so I'll say this now because I've been holding it the whole time. I was like, oh, Game Over, man. All right, a Netflix comedy. Oh, it's the guys from Workaholics. All right. The third penis I saw.
Wait, hold on.
There's a lot of penises, and I was only 20 minutes into the movie. Which, by the way, look, I know me, and I also do a lot of research on what the global average of penis size is.
Oh, no.
Like, their penises are all like this. They're all like...
Oh, no. I, actually forgot until you mentioned it.
How many penises are there? Daniel Stern, the voice of Fred Savage on Wonder Years, gets his dick cut off. And then falls next to him. That's like how his character ends, which is kind of funny to watch Daniel Stern be a total piece of shit. So that was fun. I also really liked the weird rich guy. Now, mind you, again, 20 minutes in, I was like, I can't do this.
Wait. The weird rich guy. You mean the celebrity guy?
The one whose money they're trying to get.
Yes.
I could have watched the whole movie of him. He was so dumb, it was ridiculous. And I actually loved the him and his security guard relationship. Because clearly one of them's a piece of shit and the other one's just doing his job. And that guy was like, I have a list of actors in my head that I don't have a movie, but I would do anything to get all these actors in my movie. And he actually, I saw his performance and I was like, oh, this is really nuanced and like interesting, and he's intelligent and he's playing within the universe and he's playing this game.
Yeah.
Okay. I did love that opening scene. I legitimately was like, okay, this is stupid. This is funny.
Okay. I'm going to confess right now. I do not remember the opening scene. What I do remember, though, is the plight of the three friends the whole time.
Uh-huh.
And I was hardcore, I think, watching it from like the shoulder of Adam Devine.
Okay. The one who's like the leader, but is also not the leader.
Yeah. And
other two friends are doing other things.
Yes. And I just loved like the whole, like, it was so ridiculous. But like the whole, like their whole plot was like the thing that really got me.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, wait, they? What do I mean by they?
The whole thing about their plot really got me. What is their plot that got you?
Okay, so what I recall the movie was like, okay, these are like, three people that work in a hotel. They're trying to do more with their life, but like they're not currently. And they're like, from the outside looking in, it looks like they're schleps or fuck offs or whatever, but they have these bigger dreams the whole time. I love stuff like that.
Right.
And then it's like they get caught up in this like, and then they go for it in terms of like the rich guy with the chihuahua, and they're like pitching this idea and they get the check, but then like the guy takes the check and I'm like, but it's a whole time. It's like, they just have the balls to go for it. And yet like, but they're like regular people. And then like, but yet they end up being like the heroes. And it's just like, like, I just like love it. Like,
yeah. Okay. That is actually what that's what I was asking.
Mm-hmm.
Because here we go. Let's do this move now. Cause this is my, this is the reason I said, why I love the podcast. I've been like,
I love this. This is so fun.
This is so stupid fun. First of all, I get to talk to my friends about things they love, and then it gets me all excited about loving them. And basically and this is funny because it's like, I love how I'm thinking like a zillion steps ahead. That's totally unnecessary. One of them is like, okay, what is this thing going to be once people figure out the secret? Because basically my question, what are your 3 favorite movies, is an absolute workaround of tell me everything about you that you don't even realize. And you're just going to casually talk about these movies and why you love them and da-da-da-da, but you're actually revealing everything about you as a person that I need to know.
You're so brilliant. Oh my God.
Because so Matrix is kind of, I mean, we'll dig into that if we even need to, because you totally nailed it. And basically anyone who loves that movie knows there's something more going on right now.
Yep.
And there are those of us who completely commit to the awareness and commit to living our life like, man, this isn't what you think it is. And the thing you think it is actually probably isn't even that. Yeah. So you got to kind of keep digging. Now, there are other, like, I remember I went to see the premiere of the 3rd one at 6 a.m. at Man Chinese Theater because they did this worldwide premiere at the same moment. And I was so excited because I thought everyone else loved it for the same reason I did, only to see all the cosplay people and being like, the group who loves it like I do is a lot smaller than we like to put on costumes and wear.
Yeah.
But anyway, blah, blah, blah. But you're asking you, what is it specifically about this movie that I could get 20 minutes into? And then when Adam Devine just kept flopping his penis around, like literally did this with his dick. And me being like, of all the movies in the universe, like I can see this one being a runner-up. But when you were like, oh, how could I ever forget this one? But you just totally, like, what is it, the thing that hooked you throughout the whole thing? And it is that thing of people trying to be, I mean, you said it.
Yeah.
Like, these are 3 guys that might not be extraordinary according to their circumstance, but their ambition, and they just won't quit. Yeah. And they're just, and they go all out. Like, if we're going to fail, I mean, that's kind of the best thing about those 3 characters is that one of them is clearly not aware of the failing he is currently doing. And the other 2, and then it's kind of a played out joke, but it always makes me laugh of the one character who's clearly gay and like just can't, like, doesn't get it, and everyone's looking at him like, dude, you're super gay. Like, you're gay. Nobody cares anymore. And I love that aspect of it. I also love that part of the. Yeah, these are 3 guys that are thrown into an extraordinary circumstance and actually rise to the occasion as ridiculous as they do.
And they, like, at the end, like, win it. Like, I know there's like a part 2 that I don't think has ever come yet that like shows people.
Oh, really?
Well, because like they're on the boat. Like they've like made it. They're successful. They have all these, chicks around, whatever. They're like living the life, whatever they want to live. But like off in the distance, I think it shows like someone's coming for them. But like the part 2 hasn't been made yet of the movie.
Sure. Well, we'll see.
Like, it's like they get there. They do it being themselves and all. Oh, there's a theme here. There's a theme.
And I was going to say, and in Step Brothers, these guys are idiots. And everyone's having a good time. It's funny. I actually haven't heard any stories of what it was like on the set of The Matrix. You'd eventually hear shit about that. My guess is that it was just cool because it wasn't extraordinary. It wasn't extraordinarily awful or extraordinarily bad for anyone. It just was like you got a bunch of pros. You got directors and writers who know their vision, and everyone's doing their job. So it's not like I remember I was invited to the premiere of Remember the Titans. Wow. It was so funny because they did it at the Rose Bowl. And so the invite wasn't a big deal. Like every star was like, yeah, just literally invite as many people as you want because we're filling up an entire stadium. So we rode and then like it was really funny because I was in the row of all the actors and coming, when you think about the group of people that were in that movie,
That's
it's like,
cool.
hi, I'm Ryan. I'm like, hey, I'm Mikey. And it's like, and then, what's it called comes out, Notebook comes out. It's like, hey, that's the guy from, and, Wire comes out. And I'm like, hey, that's the dude from, and then the little girl, I'm like, I think she's the only one I didn't meet. But then the fact that she's like, a megastar now, I can't
super cool.
But there's a really funny moment where I had heard from my buddy that Denzel was really difficult to work with, like really, really difficult. He had never come to peace with being a celebrity, like hated people invading his life. So they would go out to, like he said, he went one time to go out to eat. It was like shit. And like, he was like a dick the whole time. And it was like,
wow.
Yeah. And he had just finished making, the excuse that a lot of people gave was like, he was coming off of the hurricane. So he was still living that, like, I am being jailed for an injustice and that kind of whatever. But the most telling thing that made me laugh was, here I am in this row of all the stars of this movie, right? Of all the football players. And they cart Denzel to say hello to the crowd at the beginning. And everyone, 100,000 people, 80,000 people are cheering. Ah, Denzel, Denzel, Denzel. And I look to my left, and this is what all the guys are doing. Wow. I get the legit feeling that is not what it was like on Step Brothers.
No. Yeah.
Like, I get the legit feeling on The Matrix, like, okay, we're all here to do a thing. I did hear a really cool story that Lawrence Fishburne, they'd been trying to make him a star for like a good 10 years at that point. And he kind of gave up on it and was like, I just want to do a movie that questions this reality, and got the script.
I feel like I'm one step away from being a star after hearing this.
I think you are. I mean, honestly, it's not that. We're not that. I mean, again, game over, man. What in our daily circumstance, an extraordinary thing could pop into our laps, and then it's like, are you going to step up or not step up? And is it really that difficult to live your dream if you go balls to the wall?
Darn it! Why are you making me think about things? I need to reevaluate my life after this. Shit.
I think you're doing all right, especially after you said why you liked Game Over, man.
I mean, I am. I really am. And
oh, that made me laugh so hard because I was watching. I was like, "Oh, we're doing it was 10 minutes." I was like, "Oh, we're doing this." Okay. And then the third dick that got cut off. I was like, okay, I get it, and we're just gonna do this.
Yeah.
Okay. There's another movie that another person I'm interviewing, and her third movie is a very difficult one for me to watch. In fact, that's another first 15 minutes I can't.
Oh, can you say what it is?
Yeah, I won't put this in the thing. Avatar.
Oh.
Which, by the way, when we're in class and Gary starts going off about it and everybody starts crying, I'm like this. That movie sucks. That movie sucks. That's how I know I'm not in a cult. Because if that was one of the requirements, I'd be like, well, then I'll fucking pack up my robe and all that shit, just bounce, because I'm allowed to like what I like, and that movie legitimately is terrible.
Oh my god,
it's awful. It's I get it. And had I seen it in the theater with 3D glasses with a bunch of people and popcorn, I would say I loved it. I would have loved to have seen that movie that way. But I also know I would have never wanted to see that movie again.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah. I saw it once and now I'm like, maybe I should revisit it just to see you know what I mean? Like my senses now, because I loved it, but it didn't even cross my mind when I thought about this. Didn't even think about it.
Right. Yeah, and that's fine, because and that's the kind of cool thing. My brother-in-law, I remember and he's like a hardcore cinephile. So his first movie was one of his movies is, and this is usually the way it goes, is one movie's kind of what do I think is the best film ever? Mm-hmm. And then it kind of starts to branch out of what is important to you as a being. Mm. And so it's usually either if you're a funny person, you'll pick a comedy. If you like laughing, you'll pick a comedy. If you social whatever, you'll pick one of those. But then the third one's always this crazy wild card, and he just busts out with When Harry Met Sally. And there's just like, oh my God, you're romantic. Like, you legitimately think that, like, You know
what?
Wait, are you going to change yours to When Harry Met Sally?
No, what I realized I need to probably get my bars run to romantic comedies because I massively resist them. Yet I've spent a lot of my life thinking, gosh darn it.
You're trying to live one?
See, I need to reevaluate my life. I hate it. I love it. I hate it. I want it. I don't have it. Oh my God, why don't I have it? I hate
it. There's a class in there somewhere about the romantic comedy of your life.
And Lord.
It's never going to get to the third act. These aren't real. It always ends with the second act when you two break up, and then it's like, that's it. That's kind of how it actually works.
Yeah.
Although, did you ever see, real quick, did you ever see the breakup with Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn?
Yes.
That's actually my favorite one because it ends with them just sort of seeing each other after they're over it.
But wasn't it funny, though?
It was super funny. No, it's a good movie, and it's also like super bitter because they're like trying to drive each other out of their apartment, their apartment. But what I liked was that at the end, it was like, oh, I've moved on. And like, and they kind of give each other this look of like, that we had a run, and but there wasn't like a, hey, let's.
Yeah.
So
ooh, I like that.
I love how like with me and my best friend in high school, Ryan Bader, would go see a movie, and it was like whatever. Here's the thing: it was always a romantic comedy, and then we'd see a trailer for a romantic comedy and turn and be like, oh, we got to see that. We got to see that one too. So the third one always like I find the third one to be way more revealing than people know. And the thread in these three are someone who is being like people who are being themselves and kind of, I mean, Step Brothers is still the most like to make the Catalina wine mixer.
Oh God.
Like the success it was.
See, they're still creating success.
Yes. And creating success in all of these. Neo is the one. He figures it out. It doesn't look the way he thought it would. Yeah. So there you go. Those are your three favorite movies. And it totally makes sense to me.
This is so brilliant. Now I feel like this is a question I should have figured out 20 years ago to like have like in my dating life.
I'm telling you, it's my favorite thing to bust out. It really helps because like if someone's like, I'm trying to think of one. Well, no, if someone told me Princess Diaries, I'd actually, that's a good movie. See? But if it was some weird movie where like the person's just really bitter and it ends with them being justifiably bitter, I'd be like, oh, we should. Lulu gave me the best dating advice ever. I was telling her about like a bunch of different women I'm meeting online. And I was like, one of them's kind of boring. She just goes, loser.
Oh,
like, immediately. I was like, what? She was like, she's boring. Loser.
You know, it's so funny. So I've been getting the comment, you're really weird, from the guy that I'm dating.
Oh, no.
I know, right? But it's said with this really like interesting energy. And I'm like, and I'm kind of resisting it, which is odd because I totally am weird. And yet, but yet, I know, right? I'm like, what's this? I've never resisted this in my life, but like, let me actually stop resisting it. But what's funny though, is I'm like, you know what? It's like not a joke, that's a joke. I'm like, but I've never been accused of being boring, ever.
Yeah.
You will not be bored around me, period.
Ever. No. The swings of sensations when one is spending time with you, they are specific and they go there. Whatever the sensation is, it just is there. And you're like, oh yeah, that is how I feel in this moment. There's no kind of like, yeah, no, that is true. You are absolutely not boring. Not in any kind of way. No, there's a legit like, let's hang out until this is over because I gotta see where this ends. This is What did she just say? Oh shit. Okay. All right.
Oh, it's so true.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Oh, this was like the best. Like, thank you truly for asking. And like for real, like, so I just want to say this, like, I've known you for what, 2 years now?
Yeah.
3 years, 2 years, something like that. And like, not only just everything you be is just phenomenal and such a gift, but like truly, Mikey, there's really something special to this. Like, please get it out there, like more. Like I like, and thank you for having me be one of the first ones to say yes. But no, this is like really like, it's rare to have. I feel like it's like a mixture of these movies. It's like, it's fun, it's silly. We had a ton of dumb jokes, but yet it actually changed your life. Like, no, seriously, because I'm gonna get off and I'm like, I need to think about some shit now. Oh, keep it real.
Maybe cut off 3 dicks, 3 unusually huge dicks. Jesus, it's like, man, these guys are just well done, fellas. If this is what you think is normal, I got shit to work on.
But no, this is so brilliant. Like, I'm just like, wow, like this is, so I'm really excited for you.
I really appreciate it because like I legitimately love this question, and it's funny because it's like okay, so my friend Roxy, like I said, best actor I know, and her 3 movies were Pride and Prejudice, 2005, the Keira Knightley one, which I hadn't seen. Mean Girls, which I also hadn't seen, which was like apparently the biggest crime in the world. Whenever people were like, you never saw it? And I was like, no, I never saw it. And what was it? Oh, the third one. Oh, the third one is Beetlejuice.
That's so random. What was her thread?
An outsider being who was kind, and by the end, realized that being themselves actually got them everything, And the thing was that because she's in the game, like she's an actor, like, and she has really good taste. Like Pride and Prejudice, I don't know if you remember the YouTube video of the girl who'd never seen a Star Wars movie, but all her friends talk about Star Wars. So one of her friends finally was like, here, just tell me what happens in Star Wars 4 through 6. And she just starts saying things because she's heard it 1,000 times. Yeah. But they all don't connect at all, and they're super off. She calls Han Solo Hans. Like his name is Hans Olo, not Han Solo. Oh, and it's really fucking funny. It's like one of the first viral videos ever. That's how I am with Pride and Prejudice. I have so many intelligent, funny, smart female friends that everyone fucking talks about Pride and Prejudice, and I just, Liz Bennett, sure. I don't know. There's a guy named Darcy, and like they kind of get together, or they get together. But either way, I'd see, like, when I watched them, and the movie nerd in me was so like, this is fucking cool. And then I started watching Game Over, man. and there's this immediate like, this is the challenge that I'm really excited for. Oh wait, where'd you go?
I'm here.
Oh, okay,
I'm
cool.
here. Yeah.
No, I got a phone call. Because there was this moment of like, oh, like, she picked this movie. There's gotta be a reason she picked this movie, and I gotta find out why. It was like, I gotta dig in deep. It makes sense in the sense of like, whatever, why not was the best response. Why not pick that movie? I was like, you know what? You got me. You win right there. But then going into that level of like, these guys overcome it and become and have the success of their dreams. Like they actually achieve their dream.
I have a ridiculous soft spot that I will choose to embrace now, not make a wrongness for people or things that have been dismissed by society. Yeah. Like my dog's a rescue. We'll just keep it at that. Otherwise, I don't know who's going to see this. I might get in too much trouble right now.
Don't name names. Like some of us just did.
But point being, like, I love that. Like, I love just like, we can actually do it. Like us, like the normal, whatever that means. Right. Everyday person can actually do like the extraordinary thing. Like, I'm just such a fan of all that.
And you're a champion of it. Like like you live it. Like that is what you have constructed, at least since I've known you, and certainly everything you've told me about your life. Like it's almost like this, it's like this universal truth that, it's almost like you came onto the planet, like no one's talking about this enough. Like no one is like, this is so fucking obvious and everyone doesn't really believe it.
Wow.
I got to point this out to people. Like, hey, that's totally real and that's totally possible. And it actually is, like you said, like, I mean, what was the joke that we're that close to being a star?
Yeah.
And that's
my gosh.
Yep. So there you go. Let's end it on that one.
Okay.
Going out of time. Do you think I should stream these live too?
I think it'd be super fun live, as long as we didn't either get distracted, or if we got distracted, be on purpose. We're engaging with the conversation. If you guys,
did that happen this time? Because part of the reason I love podcasts is because like my favorite podcaster is a guy who he does sports stuff, but as soon as he goes off the rails on like life stuff, it's a zillion times funnier and more interesting.
Oh, no. I agree. I actually think this is like freaking brilliant. I think this is like 5 million steps ahead, like where you actually think it is. Like, I think it's like, for sure. But what I mean though is like, we're going along, we're just having on riff, and then somebody makes a comment and it's like not, you know what I mean? Like that's a different kind of distraction versus we're just being all over the place, which is like the best. Yeah. This is why I love Howard Stern. Going back to the beginning, it was like just all over the place.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, let's end it there. You've got a life to live. Thank you so much. Oh wait, did we put your name up? Is it up there?
I see my name.
Yeah, I see it too. So I guess that worked. Did I forget to do a thing? Oh, who cares? Whatever. We're an hour 15. This is the end. This is not the time to worry about that. All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome.
So great. This is so stupid fun. Thank you.
It's ridiculous. I love you, my friend.
I love you too. And enjoy your rescue dog and your
I'm uncomfortable.
Every time. All right. I'll see you later. Thank you again.
Oh, you're so welcome. Okay, I'll see you soon.
Bye, Natalie.
Bye.